Hey guys, and welcome to game number 65 out of 100 of my Human vs. AI series, where I'm taking on the AI-powered Scrabble-bot BestBot in a 100-game match. Coming off of a couple tough losses, so really could use a win today, and we are starting with a blank, which is good, but we're also starting with the Q, which is not so good. So I got an interesting decision right off the bat here. I don't have any words that use the Q without using the blank. So either I have to trade the Q, probably trade AOQ back to the bag and hopefully bingo next turn, or I can burn the blank and play Queen for 46, which is probably worth it. 46 is a lot more than the raw value for the blank, which is somewhere around 28 or 30. And AO is not a great leave, but 46 is just way too much to give up. Because, like, think about it this way. So I score 46. On my next turn, I'll probably average somewhere... Like, normally an average turn, especially early in the game, is low to mid-30s, I would say. With a leave like AO, that maybe goes down to mid to high 20s. So, you know, even if we say it's mid-20s, then 46 plus mid-20s is like low 70s. If I trade keeping AE and blank, I don't average low 70s. Because when I bingo, I'm probably going to get somewhere in the 70s, maybe 80s if I'm lucky. But there's still no guarantee I'm going to bingo. I mean, I could draw WU, I could draw 3 more vowels. Like, I'm likely to bingo with AE and blank, but there's no guarantee. My average is probably more like 60. So this is going to end up netting me more. And yeah, like I said, 46 is just way too much to give up for the blank. So it's a little counterintuitive and kind of hard to stomach getting rid of the blank when you have such good bingo tiles otherwise, but it's definitely the right play. So I'm going to do it. And maybe the bot will be kind enough to give me an F for Forzando. That would be pretty cool. By the way, Forzando takes an S at the front as well. S-F-O-R-Z-A-N-D-O, which is pretty cool stuff. But not likely to be relevant here, but you never know. Okay, there's a couple of fun words starting with S-F. There's Sforzando. There's also Sforzato. S-F-O-R-Z-A-T-O. Alright, Quellia comes down, so no F, but I do get a nice Z spot over here. Could play Zoo. Obviously, it's a little bit risky. Probably Azo is the right play, because it sets up my N for Azon. Obviously, the bot could also have an N, so there's a little bit of a risk. But it's still good, because if the bot doesn't have an N, which is certainly possible, there's only 4 Ns remaining and 76 tiles in the bag, so there's certainly a possibility the bot doesn't have the N. It's really, really annoying for the bot to block. Whereas with Zoo, regardless of what the bot has, it's probably, unless it has like a ton of vowels, it's reasonably likely to have a good play there. So the opening after Azo is just much harder to deal with in a lot of cases, and it's something that I have the ability to use very well in my next turn, so it's a much, much better play. I guess if I wanted to be very, very safe, I could play Ads for 53, which is more points. And it's not a crazy idea, because I am taking a lead, and it's by far the safest option, but the leave is also a lot worse. OONR is considerably worse than DONR, just because of the duplicate O's. So, I mean, I don't hate this, but I think I'm going to be a little more aggressive and play Azo, because I do have that N. And like I said, there's 4 N's left, but there's so many tiles unseen that the odds are probably against the bot having an N. So I think it's worth the risk. Let's go ahead and try it. Alright, so not the best draw here. I mean, I'll probably just end up playing something with Azon on my next turn. There's nothing particularly good there. Alright, Wavy comes down quickly. So yeah, now I have a decision to make. Do I want to play with Azon, or do I want to just play around over here, which is probably my best equity play by a good margin. 29 points, keeping just a D. But then I leave Azon open and also get rid of my N. So I'm not too thrilled about that. Rand is... I mean, this leave of duo is pretty rough. I guess I could play Dawn. Maybe that's the right compromise. 25 points, but at least it takes out that spot. And this leave is fine. I'd say this leave versus just a D is comparable. I'd probably rather just keep a D, go for more turnover. But I do want to probably block that spot if I'm going to get rid of my N. Because I don't want to be in the reverse position that I was before, where I feel like the bot might have an N, and now I have no good way to block it. So I think Done is probably more sensible. Do I just not... I want to convince myself I have nothing better than Done in that spot. It feels like I should... I mean, Rand is not better than Done, is it? It is... It's 9 more points. Which is a lot, but OUD is a lot worse than AORD. It's probably close, though. 9 is a bit to give up. Just don't really think I have anything else in that spot. Interesting. Yeah, this is a very tough turn. I mean, around, done, and rand are all reasonable options. And I just don't really know how to decide between them. I feel like I'm going to go with done. OUD just has so much potential to cause problems next turn, whereas this at least guarantees I'll have some sense of balance. So I feel like this has got to be better. It's close. All these plays are pretty close, but I don't think the difference is large enough to justify spending more time than I've already spent on it, so I'm going to go ahead and play done. Yeah, and this is not a great rack, but the thing is, like, it would have been even worse, most likely, after duo. I would have had probably 5 vowels, like AADOOUS or something. Hog ties comes down, so the bot takes a lead, but not a particularly big lead. I mean, I feel like Oda here has to be right. 29 points, gets rid of both my duplicate vowels, blocks that spot. Yeah, I don't think there's much else to really think about here. Let's go ahead and play that pretty quickly. Borrages. Is it going to play? Wow, high came down very fast there. Interesting. I don't think Borrages plays. Oh, but I have Barronages. Alright. So I think that's going to be the play. It seems like my only bingo. So I will go ahead and do it. Alright, this looks promising. Dang it. Intranet comes down. So the bot bingo's right back. Do I have a bingo here? I feel like I should be close to something. Almost isoform. Not quite. Yeah, probably not. I mean, I guess this isn't that great a rack with F and 2 O's. Alright, so I've got a few options here. I can play Foo for 29. I can play Foam for 32. I can play Foam here for 34. Those are probably the 3 options that are viable enough to consider. I'm not sure. It's pretty close. Nice thing about Foo is it keeps the M, and the M is a good tile because it can be used as either a bingo tile or a scoring tile pretty well. There's a lot of bingos with M's, and it is still a 3-point tile that's very flexible if I can't bingo. So that's one nice thing about Foo. Obviously, it's a couple less points than some of my other options, which is the main downside. Yeah, Foam also is nice because it blocks... I mean, they're both sort of hotspots, right? Like, if the bot has the X, then it's probably scoring 40 in the spot where I'm looking at playing Foam now and 50 on the bottom. So the bot is getting a lot of points for the X regardless. And other than the X, I mean, both of these hotspots are pretty strong. It's not entirely clear which one is more dangerous. They both are not, like, super scary, but they both definitely have some potential to cause problems. So yeah, SOR versus SARM. Definitely the latter seems better. The nice thing about saving the M is I, at the minimum, save a nice play of MOS here on my next turn for like 35 as a backup option, which could also improve with most or Mosh or something. Well, not Mosh, there's no H's left, but maybe Mosk or who knows. But in any case, having that is nice as a backup. So I think I'm leaning towards Foo right now. But like I said, they're all close. I think Foam in either spot is not unreasonable, and Foo is not unreasonable. So could kind of go either way. I'm going to go with Foo. Like I said, I like keeping the M as a scoring tile. It's a 5-point sacrifice, but I think I set myself up overall for better plays on my next turn. Well, that didn't exactly go as planned. Don't get any more vowels, so I'm stuck with just one vowel. So now I probably will take advantage of what I was talking about before, just playing Mo's, because I have a second S as well. So 34 points. All right, Toit comes down. Bot is playing very fast this game, interestingly. And I don't think that really changes anything for me. Mo's looks like a good play. 34 points, gets rid of 2 consonants. I still keep an S. Definitely not going to be bingoing here. Medlars, but have a second S to deal with. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Hopefully I get a vowel. I do. I draw ribalds. Bot bingos. Oh, and bridles as well. I'll have a bingo, though. I have bed rails through this E and baronages at the minimum. I'd love to bingo with reverted, but unfortunately, bridles and ribalds don't fit there. So it's bed rails, rail beds, and the disabler. So I can bingo through the E and everted as well. Probably with, I don't even know. Whatever I do is pretty scary. If I play rail beds, yeah, I could give back a lot of big plays on the left. Oof. Do I really want to do that, or do I want to just play bed rails on the right for 72? So either way, I'll be up, but not by much, especially with the bot being on turn. Yeah, it's a tough call. I mean, that spot is pretty dangerous with that pool unseen. The pool is a pretty good pool overall. There's a mix of scoring tiles like the J, the K, and the X, and some 4-pointers, and also good bingo tiles like the E's, the R's, the S, N, P's. So a lot could go wrong after rail beds. And I don't think the other bingos are any less dangerous. I mean, disabler is probably more dangerous because it puts the vowel next to the bonus square. So, yeah, I don't really love either of those. And bed rails here scores a few less. It keeps reverted open, but that's a little bit less dangerous because there's 2 R's left, and he could easily not draw one of the R's. I feel like I'm more inclined to do this and hope he didn't draw one of the R's. And like, even if he drew the R, he's probably, I mean, he might get like 40. He's probably not going to get like 60 like he might after one of the other plays. So, yeah, I think I'm inclined to do this. Another tough call. A lot of kind of tough decisions this game where I feel like I'm ending up sacrificing a few points to make some calls that may or may not be best, but I think in this case, playing here and keeping things a little bit more tight is the way to go. So we'll see if it works out. Well, I drew the other S, which is good. Unfortunately, alright, well, that's actually not that bad an outcome. He plays Narek for 36. It's not a ton of points. I feel like PIU has to be correct here. I have Euripi, E-U-R-I-P-I is a 6, but it doesn't really play. It's a plural of Euripus. It does actually play here, which is interesting, for 22, but I mean, I think this has to be better. It scores the same, and the leave is just way better. EIRS is a fantastic leave. And I mean, probably turning over tiles is not great here. Like, I have the last X, or the last S, and there's a lot of tiles in there that could be kind of clunky that I want to avoid. I've got the bingo line on column B, I've got the C and Narek to work with. So I think this looks good. I also stopped that scoring spot. It's an even game. I'm feeling like I'm in decent shape here. Not a great draw here. And wow, the bot is just like blitzing out moves this game. It's interesting. Oxen for 37 very quickly, which is quite defensive, actually. It blocks both the B column and the C. So I need to decide now what I want to do. I have the last S, which if I could take advantage of that would be very good. But I also need to score points because I am down 37 on a board that doesn't have a lot of bingo opportunities. So I need to decide, I guess, do I want to go all in on bingoing and play something like Fig? See, the problem is Fig sets up an S hook, but it's very hard to hit because I'd have to have an S in the 4th spot specifically. Like, yeah, the bot probably isn't going to be able to block me very easily without an S unseen, but it's just not easy to actually draw a bingo that plays there. So I don't really think that's a great plan. And there just isn't really a good way to set up my S while keeping a good leave, I don't think, on the right-hand side of the board. Maybe on the left I can play something. Like ring setting up I-ring, but I don't think that's a strong enough leave. Huh. I think I might just have to play Fidge and try. I have the S. Like, if I can draw well here, I might be able to still outscore the bot in the endgame. Maybe even bingo through that E, actually. Like, that's a sneaky line for 8s. I think this has to be right. I mean, I'm only down 4, so if the bot doesn't have a good rack and I draw well, I might have some chances. So I think let's do that. Yeah, it doesn't look like a great draw. I mean, so weak comes down, emptying the bag, but this J is really going to be tough to get rid of, I feel like. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to win. I don't have like anything that gets rid of this J. And the bot has enough scoring tiles and flexibility that I have a hard time imagining I'm going to be able to set something up that it won't be able to block. So yeah, I just can't imagine that this is going to work. I mean, maybe I just play like this, saving Myler, but then the bot can just block Myler. So yeah, it's 36 points is a lot to make up to, so I just don't really know. I could also do this, setting up Lemur through the M, which can also probably be blocked pretty easily. Do I have another out? I have Ruler from the R, but if he just plays like Campy, he blocks both. I don't have anything from the B in bed rails. Bluer doesn't fit. So yeah, I don't think that's going to work. I guess I could play Myler if I want to go out in 2, setting up use with either Mylers or No's. But I'm probably giving back a lot of plays through that R, like Piracy. I don't really want to allow that. It seems silly. So yeah, I don't know what I want to even do here. I feel pretty confident, like I said, that I can't win this game. I don't feel confident that I know what the best play is for spread. I know that this J is definitely more of a liability than an asset. I don't see any other way to really get rid of it. Yeah, I don't know whether I should play over here or over here. I mean, the bot doesn't have any huge threats right now or anything, but probably giving it the M to work with just allows it to go out in 2 easily with Campy and then save oil for its next turn. So probably I should force it to block Myler, because that's going to be a little bit harder for it to do. If it plays Icily, I still go out. So I feel like probably the best option is to play over here. But it's also possible that I should just play Myler and let it have Piracy so I could go out in 2. I'm not actually positive about that. Unless I can also maybe just like play through this E. Does that help me? Like Jeer or something, or Jeers? I'm not even sure where I'm going out after that, though. That's the thing. I guess if I play Jeers, then I can go out with Lum on the left or Slum on the right. Maybe that's the right play then, just to go out in 2 without giving anything back. That might be a little bit better, actually. Yeah, why don't I go ahead and do that? I think that's probably the best option of a pretty poor set of choices. All right, yeah, I don't want to overcomplicate this too much. All right, so the bot just plays Spicy, and should I even go out, or should I just play Lum over here for 22? Let's see. So 22, bot goes out with Bola, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, plus 9, plus 13, plus 11. No, I'm better off going out. Okay, so yeah, let's just go out, and yeah, it was a good game, 433 to 464. Just kind of couldn't make it happen at the end. I was trailing by 30, it felt like, for a while, and just never managed to come back. But it was definitely a back and forth game. Lots of interesting turns. So let's see what we can learn. Well, we learned I made a mistake on the opening play. I didn't see Canot. I only saw Queen. So that's already a mistake. I mean, obviously EO is a much better leave than AO. So that's already a moderate-sized mistake to start things off. Yeah, I just got completely fixated on making the blank a U. I didn't even think about a U or a Q without U word using the blank. So that's a sloppy way to start off right there. Azo was an interesting turn. I think it's okay. Like I said, this makes no sense. You're much better off holding back the N and trying to set yourself up. I guess another thing I could do, I wasn't really thinking about playing here, interestingly. I got very fixated on the spot above the A in Quelia. So I could just play Zoo or Zune over there, which is a lot safer. So I guess the question becomes, how likely do I think the bot is to have an N? Probably pretty unlikely, all things considered. Like I said, there's still 83 tiles unseen to me, right? 76 in the bag and 7 on the bot's rack. So with only 4 of them being N's, it's not exactly 4 times 7 with the bot being 7 tiles, but it's roughly 28 out of like 83. So only about a 1 in 3 chance, give or take, that the bot had an N. So, I mean, if the odds are that the bot doesn't have an N, I think taking this risk is not unreasonable. But I probably should have considered playing next to the A and Queen. I'm a little surprised I didn't at least look in that spot. Oh, yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I'm just missing plays this game. I don't know why. I didn't come up with Dona here. That's probably better than done. I mean, it does still keep a U, which isn't ideal. But for 6 more points, it's clearly better than Rand, right? Because DOU is just way, way worse than either ADOR or DRU. So Dona is clearly better than Rand. It's probably better than done. I mean, I think for 6 points, DRU is fine over ADOR. It's actually only about 0.3 of a point better, according to the Google's bot, but I feel like I would have gone with Dona if I had seen it. Okay, Oda looks correct, so I finally get a play correct there, and then here as well, Baronages. Bot bingos with intranet, and then, yeah, I played Foo over here. Oh, I missed Foram. Yeah, that's gotta be better. I mean, it sets up my S really nicely. There are 2 S's unseen, but I think there's still enough tiles that it's worth the risk, right? So there were 47 in the bag. Yeah, with the bot drawing 7, odds are roughly 14 out of 47. Yeah, definitely worth the risk here. I just unfortunately didn't come up with that word. I only saw Foo and Foam. But yeah, definitely making some sloppy decisions this game for sure. That's way, way better. This one looks fine. And then, yeah, this was another interesting turn. Like I said, I just felt like the openings on the left were a bit too dangerous, and that there was enough of a chance that the bot didn't have an R, or at least a big play there, that playing it a little safe was the right way to go. But the bot did have an R. I guess as it turns out, if I had played something there, the bot might have not really had much. But I guess, yeah, if I had played Railbeds, then the bot would have still had, like, Racino or something over there for about the same score. So it probably would have been just about a wash. This looks right. Yeah, Oxen was a really annoying play. Like, I feel like Fidge is basically forced. I mean, the thing is, none of my fishes are good enough, because, yeah, the leave is good, but again, I'm just not hitting bingos with figs very often, with having to get a 7 with an S in the 4th spot. And yeah, here I don't think there's anything to be done. Like I said, there's a bunch of mediocre plays that get rid of the J, but a lot of them don't even have multiple outs on the next turn, which at least my play did, so I think this is probably fine. I'm not going to worry too much about what the best endgame was. I feel quite confident that there was no win, but honestly, I didn't really deserve to win this game, guys. Like, I didn't make any mistakes that were horrific, but I just made a lot of small to medium mistakes, like many, many of them, way, way more than I should be making. I mean, the opening play was a small mistake. Dunn was a small mistake. Fu was at least a medium mistake, if not a largish mistake, and yeah, there were some others too, like Azo that were very, very questionable, so not my best game by any means, unfortunately, because this one was probably winnable given how close it was, but you know, it happens. Can't play your best every single game, but at least it was an interesting game. Unfortunately, we now fall to 9 games back in the series, which is not great, but you know, what are you gonna do? It's a tough opponent we're playing against, and there's still a lot of Scrabble left in the series. We got 35 games to go, so hopefully we can turn this thing around soon. But yeah, that's it for this one, guys. So really appreciate you staying with me and all the support. And like I said, hopefully we'll get some wins in the next couple videos, and I hope to see you all there. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye.